Welcome back, everyone. This is Tyler, Dan, and Bass doing Degens episode 7. We have a special segment this week where we'll discuss devil fruits from One Piece. There's so many that we had to narrow it down to our favorites. One Piece is one of our favorite anime of all time, so I'm really, really excited about that, actually. And the devil fruit segment will be followed by our first look of Mobile Suit Gundam, Blooded Orphans, and then lastly, our weekly rundown of My Hero Academia, Buddy Daddies, and One Piece, which is coming off a break. Either you boys excited about Go Piece being back?
Yes, sir. I'm super excited about it. What about you, Dan?
Yeah. I knew what episode we were getting to, and there was one scene I was really excited to see. So I was very excited for one specific scene in this one, and they did a great job animating it. So
that's awesome.
Good, thankfully, like the 2 weeks didn't feel so long with My Hero, like just banging out bangers nonstop.
Yeah, they really have been heating up over there.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I mixed in a little Marine Ford just to keep the vibes going right.
Oh, I feel that. That's that and Scott Peter like my go-to arcs for when I'm trying to get some extra One Piece in my life. But Tyler, you had some a little bit of news for us.
Yeah, I actually seen on Twitter yesterday, I believe it was. ReZero is gonna be getting some news on March 25th, and I think Anime Japan, I think it is. Maybe a new season announcement. We could only hope because it's been ages since the last season.
Yes, sir. I've been working my way through season 1, so some season 2 news would be very timely for me, man. When did the last season air?
Probably like 2017 or 18, I think. So,
oh wow!
I think somewhere around. It was before 2020. So,
well, I appreciate you putting me on game now and not 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like an AOT level season 1 to season 2 break right there. That's like 5 years. Holy cow!
Right? Yeah. Long time.
And like I said, hopefully it's a new season announcement. It is about time for that. I'm super excited to hear what it is. So.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I saw this week that there was a Gintama little special with some announcements, and I haven't watched the show yet, but it's on my list to do. If you guys haven't heard of this, it's basically like the Deadpool of anime. Like they know they're in a show. It's like total they break the fourth wall all the time. Like they just it's a parody basically of every shonen there is.
Yeah, I saw it for the first time on Twitter this week, and it's pretty fucking hilarious.
And there was one where they took the One Piece opening, the classic one, and replaced Roger with Gintoki, the main character.
Yeah, I saw that. I just saw that like 20 minutes ago. Oh my god.
Gintoki became the Pirate King before Luffy, so he's got that going for him. But at the end, they announced that there is a spinoff coming on. It's called Third Year Class Z Ginpachi Sensei. So it's basically Gintoki's a teacher at a high school. And it's going through there was no subtitles on it, so I have no idea what they're talking about.
Okay.
But there was one scene when it had him dressed up as Gojo, and then the other characters dressed up as people from Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm like, oh, they're getting right back to their ways, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it always sounds like a fun time when we're talking about Gintama. Plus, I think it's got a lot of action in it as well, so I need to check it out too.
Cool. So, guys, let's go ahead and get started with our first segment. Guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some devil fruits, and kind of where this came from is last episode we brought up thinking about having a segment with the devil fruits from One Piece, and I was thinking there's no time like the present, so we all agreed to go ahead and knock that out this week for you guys. So we've each picked out our favorites, and we'd like to, just discuss them with you guys. And just to back up a little bit, just in case you guys do not watch One Piece, and if you're not familiar, devil fruits are literal fruits that are scattered throughout the One Piece world. Upon eating one of these fruits, an animal, usually a person, is permanently granted its abilities. The only drawback, other than what type of fruit you get, there are some bad ones. There's some historically terrible devil fruits, by the way. is that you are weak to seawater and you lose the ability to swim completely. So if you fall in the ocean, you fall in a lake, you are donezo unless your friends are there to save you. And there are actually 3 different types of devil fruits. First, a zoan fruit, which allows you to transform into an animal, as well as like an animal hybrid between a human. And it also grants you abilities based around that animal. So like if you're a cheetah, you'll be fast, maybe able to bite and claw people. Next, we have Logia type fruits, which give you the ability to transform into, create, and control an elemental power. So think things like, fire, lava, light, water, air, even stone. And then lastly is the paramecia fruit. I looked at a bunch of different explanations of what this is. No one can give me a straight answer, but here's what I have for you guys. So it's a wide-ranging category, and it can be anything from like Nico Robin. She can put her body parts on like walls or wherever she wants to, or you can be made out of something, but can't control it outside of your body, like Luffy. So pretty much what everybody says is if it's not a Zoan or a Logia, it's a paramecia. So that's my little 1 minute, 2 minute take on it. Now let's get into these fruits, guys. Dan, you want to start us off with a Logia?
Yeah. So the Logia that I picked is one of the most broken ones in the show. So I picked the Gora Gora no Mi, which is in English the Rumble Rumble fruit, which belongs to our least favorite god, I should say, of the Skypiea world, Enel. So basically, this is the power to control lightning. There's like a part in Skypiea and Robin's like, this is one of the most broken fruits there is. Like, it doesn't have a weakness. You're basically a god.
Yes,
but how cool would it be to become, generate, and control lightning, dude?
Like, see, I mean, I couldn't even imagine. That'd be amazing. Like you said, it is broken. It pretty much outplays everything, right? What can't be electrocuted, and what form can't you be electrocuted, right? Anything, pretty much.
There's one specific weakness that came to mind, and it was probably the biggest part of Skypiea. So our boy Luffy, the main character, is obviously made of rubber. He's a rubber man, and well, that is my downfall, folks. So hopefully, I don't run anybody with the rubber fruit, because frankly, I can't compete with that.
Yeah, he literally couldn't touch him in the story. That was hilarious. And like as soon as we learned about the power, we were like, oh, he's gonna be good. But seeing them actually figure it out was hilarious.
Yeah, the face that Enel makes when he sees this shit, dude, it's like one of the most classic One Piece memes there is.
He had a very, very, very long face. So what are some of the abilities, man?
So, like I said, you're made of lightning, which is insane. You can't be cut. You can't be injured by anything unless it's, infused with hockey. So Bassett mentioned about hockey is also one of the big downfalls of Logia fruits. Is if you have a Logia, you can still be hit with hockey, which is like the One Piece power up. I don't exactly know how to explain it because there's a bunch of different types, but basically it's when you're really strong, you get hockey and you can coat yourself in your own energy, basically. And that's how you can punch somebody who has a Logia fruit. But some of the cool abilities, I can throw lightning at people up to like 10 million volts. So good luck.
Just a little bit. Just a little lightning.
Good luck. I mean, that's... I can just strike people with lightning all I want. Like not many people survive that more than once.
I'd say so. And that's actually like practically very useful if you didn't want to be a god.
For sure, man. And one of the cool things is that Enel can actually travel through conductive materials. So like if you touch metal, you can travel through that using your devil fruit. And that is broken as all hell. Imagine how easy it'd be to get from point A to point B, just hop into the electrical lines and get to school in 30 seconds,
Right.
Like boom. One of the most broken abilities it has is you can restart your own heart if you have a heart attack.
Yo, I forgot about that bull crap.
I can literally die.
That's a cheat.
Shock myself back to life, dude.
But how would you like be conscious enough to like know to do that? You know what I mean?
Dude, it's magic, man.
I love it. I love the explanation.
It's One Piece, dude. I don't know.
I love this. Okay.
I don't
I
know.
mean, I guess
So
like technically your heart can stop and you still be alive for a little bit, but
yeah, your brain still works for like 10 seconds. You just go, oh, a zappy poo, boom, I'm back.
I'm back.
But I just think it'd be a super cool ability to have. And like, I remember when I was watching that like Skypiea back in the day, I was like, oh, this is the best devil fruit there is. Like, it's so fucking cool. It just happened to belong to a giant douchebag.
Yeah, with like no work ethic. Because
Nah, just
he could just run the world. There's not much you can do about him.
man, the world sounds really cool, but you know what sounds way cooler than ruling the world?
What's up, bro?
Going to the moon. And
Yeah.
that's all he wanted, man. That's all he wanted was to go to
Hey,
the
I
moon.
can't argue with that. I really can't. So
But yeah.
that's it for you, my guy.
That's pretty much it. You know, I mean, it's an incredibly broken power. But how about you, Bass? What do you got?
So my Logia is actually the Pika Pika no Mi, aka the Glint Glint fruit. So the holder of this fruit is like one of the most powerful people, Admiral Kizaru. But the actual fruit you can turn into control photons. You turn into light itself. So with this, it gives you obviously a massive speed boost, right? You can literally go anywhere at the speed of light. The catch with that is you cannot turn. Photons do not turn in the real world unless they're influenced by heavy gravitational forces. You can only move in straight lines, but you can bounce yourself off things. It could be dangerous if you were, because this is pretty much instant transmission. If you just went into like a wall or inside of something, I think you'd be kind of screwed. So you got to put on the training wheels when you first eat this fruit, and God forbid you don't do this by accident when you first get it, because that's game over. So in addition to like having high speed movement, you get boosted attacks because you're swinging your arms and legs at light speed. You also, so this is what sold me. You get a fucking lightsaber, guys.
Oh,
You can literally make a sword out of light. That got me. That got me.
So,
And
I was gonna also say you could just shoot photon beams everywhere, dude. Like,
right, man. I've like done that in my lucid dreams before. It's like just shoot laser beams out of my fingers. You telling me I could actually do that now? Goated right there.
almost as cool as shooting lightning out of your fingers, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it's up there though, bro. It's up there. You can't really react to me shooting, which is nice. I guess it's the same for the rumble fruit though.
so I'm gonna like sum it up basically. So
Yeah.
you're saying you want to be like Sonic with a lightsaber?
Yes.
Okay.
Nail on the head right there.
I want to clarify that.
It's not very complicated, but it's like one of the most powerful like Logias. We even saw, I think it was during the war arc that we were talking about earlier. The at the end, Kizaru did like what's called the 8 Kama Jewel of Shaku, where he like crosses his arms and like shot all those beams in the water trying to get after Law. And you guys think, that had to go through a bunch of ice and water, and it still like went to the bottom of the ocean. So dude with this power is something serious, man. Something serious. But I don't know if it has like much practical use other than like getting rid of your commute. But that's pretty much it for me. I just thought it was a really cool fruit. If it's like, I feel like it's a guaranteed win as long as you use it correctly in a fight.
I gotta throw a massive sidebar out right quick because we all know the One Piece live action is coming, right?
Uh-huh.
And if it continues, they're gonna need an actor to play Kizaru. And there's only one person that comes to mind, and it needs to be Adam Sandler. Like,
that would be so good.
It needs to be Adam Sandler. And he's got his big Netflix deal, so he's already halfway there.
Oh, get him in. Tag my man Adam in.
But like, I can't think of a better character to play such a dopey guy.
No, that's pretty fun. I love I actually really like his character. He like just doesn't really give a crap and it kind of lazes around. A man after my own heart,
For sure, man. What about you, Tyler? What do you got?
For my Logia fruit, I picked the dark fruit, Yami Yami no Mi. And basically that allows a user to create, control, and transform into darkness. The darkness has strong gravitational properties, and the user has an infinite amount of space inside their elemental body. So this is a pretty like wild devil fruit, as we learn about in One Piece. Uh, like he can basically like create like black holes that absorbs just physical matter and any attack just by sucking it into darkness. Um, and he can also just spit out whatever he absorbed, and it kind of is it's destroyed, but like not disintegrated, I guess you can say.
Right.
Uh,
He's got like a pocket dimension, right?
yeah,
Like you'd have
something.
like a pocket dimension.
Like he can put like we seen it before in the fight against Ace, I believe. Is that correct? And he like devours a whole town. So and just spits it back out and it's like all demolished. So I don't think there's any like limitations on what he can actually take into this black hole. Uh, so it's pretty neat. It's like a pretty offensive and defensive devil fruit.
Yeah. I think so in addition to like the black hole and like sucking things in, he can also nullify other devil
Yeah.
fruit powers if you touch him. Like you can't use devil fruits if you touch him, which is
And like
completely broken.
it's pure nullification. It's not like sea salt. Or it's not like the sea nullification where you can still use your abilities. Like it's like you never had them before if he touches you. So
So
uh
we both had like a nice real world reason we wanted these. Do you have one of these? Or are you just trying to take over the world,
Okay.
man? Like what's
Okay,
going on
so
here?
hear me out. As we see in the anime One Piece, we see that Blackbeard is able to get multiple devil fruits by using this technique somehow. So we don't know how yet, but somehow he's able to combine multiple devil fruits. So imagine if I could just combine whatever devil fruit I wanted with my own and have multiple devil fruits that I choose from because who's going to stop me, you know?
Well, so I don't know if that's because of the darkness through, or if that's a different power he's got going on. Because there are
There's
way
some
too many.
theories, boy.
No,
There's some
There are
theories out
way,
about
way, way,
that.
way too many fan theories about Blackbeard and how he pulls this shit off. So we don't
I
know how
want
he
to
does that.
believe. I want to believe that it is due to his, his ability basically, allows him to, absorb and like he nullifies other powers and stuff. We just don't know how he does it, and I really like to believe that it does. He's figured out a way to actually, um, like just eat them somehow and take on the power somehow and store them. Like he has all the reasons to be able to do it. We just don't know how he does it
So,
with
but
this power.
in short, Dan, I'm going to sum that up for you. He wants all the devil fruits,
No, I
and
just
this
want some. I
just
just
wants
want
some.
some. I want to pick and
Oh
choose.
wow, my man's
Yeah.
power
So
hungry.
Okay, all for one. What else? I guess going off of this too, did you have like an emo phase back in the day, like Hawthorne Heights going
Now
on?
we're
You
getting the
know,
real questions. Here we go.
because this is a pretty emo-y fruit, man. Like you're just sitting there like, I come Sim Black the whole fucking time, man.
Look, I like some MCR and shit back in the day. You know what I mean?
Tyler said, "I am darkness."
But I mean,
Respected, dude. The Bane.
there's just like a lot of upside on this this devil fruit and
If you're
a
trying to
little
destroy things, yes.
I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
but it's not you like let's say for example if I was right and that it is the devil fruit ability
Mhm.
technique from the devil fruit to be able to absorb other devil fruits, then like I could get Dan's fruit
Nah,
and
man.
I could get
You can't
Bass's
catch up to
fruit.
me.
Bro,
You
yeah, I was
can't
about to
catch up to me.
yeah, you're gonna have to catch us, dog.
You
We're not
try to
dealing
run,
with you.
bro. I'm gonna go through the phone lines like a freaking gypsy, dude. Don't even worry about it.
Look, listen, I'll absorb another power just so it'll make it useful or helpful for me to absorb your power. How
You
Nope.
about that?
greedy, man. You
I
greedy.
don't think you can take the Gura Gura Nomi because frankly I'm pretty sure Blackbeard can only have a Paramecia, a Logia, and a zone. I don't think you can have them all.
Well, that's
Mm.
fine. That's fine.
And I don't think it has anything to do with his devil fruit. That man's got 3 souls, man. That's why his flag
You
has
think
3
so?
heads on it.
That's what I think. It seems kind of apparent to me. They say he never sleeps either, so that
But
would be
but
3 8-hour
you know,
rotations.
maybe he does have these souls, but he has to use his power to absorb it into the extra souls, right?
Nah, dude.
And what if
when they kill
you
these guys, they got a backpack of fruits in their back, and they're just the devil fruit spawns there because they're right next to them. That's what it is.
see? But
Man.
what if I was right, and what if I could use the black hole technique plus like Big Mom's technique and just create infinite souls and just have infinite powers?
Well,
I'll
I
be like
think
Thanos, bro.
I think you're cheating. I think you're cheating.
you're grasping at straws here. It's going to be really gratifying when we find 13 years from now when we get to that episode of One Piece where they're
If you're lucky.
it's finally revealed,
Dan
and
Bass is gonna say, "I told you so, Tyler."
yeah, we're gonna come back at episode 900 and be like, you fucked up, dude.
And I'm just gonna be like, "Bro, prove it." And they're not gonna find a video anywhere. Nowhere, bro.
Awesome.
But yeah.
So, all right, next. I believe we were going to do the Paramecius next, but I think we don't have time for all 3. Would you guys just want to pick your favorite out of the next 2 categories
I
and
think
keep it pushing?
we just bang them all out real quick.
Oh, let's do it
We'll do
then.
that.
Let's do it. You go first.
So my Paramecia would be the Fuwa Nomi, the float fruit that belongs to our boy Shiki, the golden lion. So basically this ability lets him cause inanimate objects to levitate as well as himself. So I couldn't make Tyler and Bass levitate, but I can fucking fly. I can make my pirate ship or my car fly. So I'm just flying over traffic, dude.
What is
I'm home.
traffic?
I'm home in 10 seconds.
Well, would
And
you
I
even
can
need a
look-
car if you can fly?
I got a lot of stuff. I don't have that many pockets.
Okay, I understand.
I could have a flying house though.
You don't
dude.
have a pocket dimension like old Tyler over here.
I could have a flying house, a flying car. I could fly anywhere, dude. I could also make everything fly, basically have telekinesis. This shit is broken.
That's
Okay.
dope. That's dope. Okay.
But a couple weaknesses, I can't make other people float. That's one, like I said, and I can only control items I've touched.
What if you put somebody in something and made that object float with them in it?
I could have a lot of fun in Roller Coaster Tycoon. Let me put it that way.
Very good. Very good.
Awesome. What about you, Bass?
So mine Paramecia is the Ito no Mi, aka the string fruit used by Doflamingo.
You sick fuck.
Dude, I'm not trying to birdcage anybody, but I think it's regarded as one of the most versatile fruits, which is why I wanted to use it. You can tie the strings. So what this does, it allows you to control strings that you can create. They're ultra durable. You can make them extremely sharp. But one of my favorite things about it is you can tie your strings up to the clouds and walk on the strings across the sky, which is dope. You can do that between buildings or whatever you want to do. You can also use it to heal yourself, which I thought that was really, really useful and a little broken.
Kind of stitch yourself up, kind of.
Yeah.
deal?
So if you get hurt, you can even do it on an atomic level if you're skilled enough with it. You can shoot bullet strings out of your fingers or wherever you want to, and you can actually copy yourself and other people and make them into stream forms. You don't get their abilities or anything, but if I wanted to make a decoy of Tyler or Dan here, I could have one walking around saying stupid stuff. It's kind of like a deep fake.
You don't got to do much to get me to say stupid stuff, dude.
And I think the reason that Dan called me a sick fuck was you can actually put this in the back of people's necks and be like their puppet. It's called Parasite, is that move. And in the story, Doflamingo uses to control a whole island of people. So it's pretty much unlimited. And he could still travel, so you can go anywhere. It's just the strings attached to him. And that might be useful in business. I'm a very ethical person in real life, but that might be useful in coercing some people. You know what I'm saying?
I was alluding to the bird cage.
Oh, okay.
I was alluding to the bird cage and leveling an entire city with strings and killing a lot of people. But
that's not really what I was interested in. But I could do it.
He wants to be like the modern day Eren Yeager, bro. He wants to save his friends.
I'm not committing genocide, guys. But yeah, just so the listeners know, in case you aren't familiar with the old bird cage, is I would pretty much shoot these ultra durable strings up into the sky and then out in a circle, like surrounding whatever area I can cover with my stamina and slowly bring them in. It would pretty much crush and cut anything in its way right back to the center. So it is a bit of a sick move there. So I get that, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Tyler? What do you got?
Well, I got a more useful devil fruit than my dark fruit that y'all said wasn't useful in everyday life.
It's just
I
so
got the
destructive.
I got the Oppie no Mi, which is the op fruit that Law has, and that basically gives me the it's gives me the ability be a surgeon kinda or be um just do anything like medical kind if I have the knowledge that is. Like I can swap places of multiple targets. I can slice targets apart without injury. I can reattach the said parts to anything. I can take organs out of the body without harms. I can implant personalities, spirits into other bodies. It's just a whole like mess of skills that this op fruit has with it. But the Marines was actually fun fact. The Marines was actually willing to pay 5 billion berries to a pirate to get this fruit. Because it's actually called the ultimate devil fruit because it's got a unique power that comes along with it, and it actually grants another person eternal youth in exchange for the user's own life. Which I'm not really into using that. You know what I mean? That means I'd
Yeah.
have to die, bro.
I was gonna say, yeah, you'd be dead.
But
Yep.
just think about you know the ability to do that if you was to be about to die or something. You can maybe help your friends out somewhat. You know what I mean?
I feel like you could be a fantastic doctor by day, magician by night with this one because the ability to chop your assistants in half
Yeah.
on stage without having to do any quote unquote magic would be pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
pay to
wouldn't
see
even hurt
that.
them. So, but I feel like this one is more useful in like everyday life. If you used it that way. So,
Okay. That's
Okay.
a good turn from where you were with the dark fruit. You're going from destruction to some actual usefulness. Very
see,
good.
I
Very
can use
good.
them both to balance each other out.
Here it goes with this again.
You only get one. We're sticking to the rules here, Tyler.
Okay, if I only got one, I would definitely pick the op fruit. It's more, it fits me better. So
Yes, sir. Dan, what's
Yeah.
your Zoan?
So for my Zoan, I kind of was looking at one fruit, the Tori Nomi, which is the bird fruit. And I kind of had to make a decision on which one I wanted to go with because there's a bunch of different models. I was between Falcon and Phoenix, but I feel like, Phoenix just has some better uses. So it's Marco's fruit. Basically, I just really want to be able to fly. Like our boy Aaron gets with his obsession with looking at birds. That looks fucking cool, man. Birds are free as fuck and also not real, but that's another story.
Okay, all right.
Dude, they're just surveillance devices built by the government. Trust me.
I want you to take that tinfoil hat you have on off right now, and let's continue with the show.
I'd have to take my headphones off, dude.
Okay.
But also, blue flames are fucking badass. His hybrid form is really cool. We haven't actually seen like a full hybrid form yet. We just see him with like wings and like talons on his normal body. But one of the big perks of this is I would be able to regenerate injuries for other people and myself. Basically, cure cancer just by lighting people on fire.
So
cool.
Marco actually is just healing himself. I thought he just didn't take damage.
He can heal himself as well.
Okay,
So you can do both.
Okay.
That's why you'll notice like Marco occasionally gets like little scratches. So instead of like using his stamina to heal those, he's saving for the big injuries.
Okay, understood. Makes more sense.
Yeah, man, it'd be cool to be a fucking Phoenix. That's for sure.
I'd say so.
I'm not the biggest fan of Zoans anyways, because they're kind of like
They can
I
be
don't wanna-
really lame.
I don't want to be a fucking cat person, dude. No,
I'm
I'm
good
not
on that.
No Neko Dan here.
you don't want to be a furry?
No,
Oh, he beat me to it.
I thought
no, I don't.
I thought you was talking about furries in our group chat the other day.
I was making fun of him, dude.
I don't know about
Yeah,
it.
I don't think that's true, but
I'll get into that later.
okay. So my Zoan type, very odd one actually. It's the Hito Hito no Mi Madoru Daibutsu, which is the human fruit model Buddha. So with this one, when I transform, I think it only has one transformation. That's all we've seen so far. I just turn into a giant golden Buddha, which off rip is dope. That's sick as hell. All gold, everything, all the time. But it only has like a couple abilities. One,
Can you move?
Yeah, you can move.
Okay.
You're free to move. You're just made out of gold.
Okay.
I guess you're kind of malleable to yourself, but when other people attack you, I mean, they're just punching gold. They're hitting gold, so imagine that. That would suck.
Yeah.
But like the big offensive move that this fruit grants is like impact wave. So I can like push air and make it explode on you, or I can hit you and create a shock wave. And kind of as okay as that sounds, our guy, what was the admiral's name at the time? Sengoku, my boy, great hair by the way, great hair. Actually injured a few of the Blackbeard pirates with one move. You know, just to tell you how powerful it is. It doesn't have any like actual utility, but I'd be fucking gold, and that's good enough for me.
I was gonna say I could just imagine you in the back of like a rap video, like
All gold, everything. Yeah,
all gold,
even
everything.
my clothes,
It's just
man.
him, gold all in my entire body, gold all in my watch. Can't stop me, don't watch. Like I can just see you doing that, dude.
And like
The
so,
all gold Rick Ross.
And one thing I'm trying to think if it would work like this or not is like when my clothes turn to gold, like can I just break pieces off and sell the gold?
No.
Is that not how it works?
No.
Could I keep it gold until I sell it to somebody?
No.
No.
We're not letting you win this one, Bass.
Boo.
I couldn't have it my way with the dark fruit. You can't have it your
Man.
way now.
All right.
Y'all some haters, man. Whatever.
The difference is he's asking serious questions. You're taking crackpot fan theories and trying to make them canon. There's a difference here.
It is
I think it would
canon in
work.
my world.
I would not be a good guy on the jewelry trading market, but I'd be rich. I tell you what. So what do you got? What do you have, Tyler?
Well, I just picked the Inu no Mi model Okuchi no Makama or something like that.
That's a
I don't
mouthful.
know. But AKA it's also known as the dog fruit, and it's and Yamato has it. It's a mythical zone type and Zoan type, and it basically gives you the ability to change from hybrid and a full version of an ancient wolf deity at will. So basically, all this is I become a wolf, an ancient wolf deity, and like obviously, like it's gonna boost your physical abilities, give you like wolf features, just stuff like that, and it also
We
can
found the furry.
I was gonna say he's not gonna look as good as our boy Yamato though.
No, definitely not. But I mean, it fits. Moondog. Moondog 54 up in here. Give me the dog fruit.
The man wants to be the guardian deity of Wano, is what I'm hearing out. He picked a lot of broken stuff here.
Yeah, he did.
I just want to make shit float, dude.
But
I just want to be gold. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I got a confession to make. I thought almost this whole time that Yamato had like a fox fruit. Because she looks more like a fox than a dog to me personally.
It's kind of one of those things like where Kaido has the fish fruit, mythical model, blue dragon, azure dragon, essentially. So it's like they kind of just do weird things like that.
Oh, okay.
Because the dog fruit has a bunch of different versions of it. He just picked a really badass one. He didn't pick like the dog fruit model poodle.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the model Okuchi no Makami means. I'm assuming it means something like ancient wolf deity. So,
I'm assuming it's based off of like a little ancient like dog god from either Chinese or Japanese culture.
So,
Oda's been known to do that.
Yeah, he's all about that.
But I just summed it up to the dog fruit because that's kind of what it is. It's just on a mythical level. So, but
Cool,
yeah.
cool.
But other than that, like she she has the ability to control ice as well, I believe. Or he, she, we're not sure
Whomever
what they are.
they,
So
yes. I think like yeah, I think she can control ice in like a limited capacity.
yeah,
She did have some ice attacks, which were actually really cool to see.
Yeah, so basically, the Okuchi no Megami is a Japanese gray wolf deity. So you hit the nail on the head there.
yeah. I thought it was something like that.
Oh, a divine beast in Japanese mythology.
This man's a badass, dude.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All the way
sir.
around.
Awesome. So those are three of each of our favorite. I don't want to say favorite because like I have other devil foods I like. I just don't know if they'd be very practical.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I feel the same way. Like I really like Robin's fruit, but I'm not a spy. I guess I could be one, but eh.
Dude, your like morning would be so easy with the Robin's fruit. You'd be cooking breakfast, taking a shower, making coffee, doing it all, starting your car at the
Just
same time.
household chores. Oh man, I picked the wrong one. But it's all good. It's all good. So
Awesome.
Dan.
Yeah, so now we're gonna get into our first look at a Gundam show, finally. As you guys know, I am like the resident mech guy. I fucking love mech shows, especially Gundam. So we were gonna look at a couple different options. I chose this one because it is a standalone. You don't need like to watch 30 shows to understand what's going on. And there's a lot of action in it. So we picked Blooded Orphans, which is from obviously Studio Sunrise. Every Gundam IP is from Studio Sunrise. This one released in October 2015. Basically, Blooded Orphans, or IBO as I'm going to call it because it's a long title, follows the exploits of a group of juvenile soldiers who established their own security company after rebelling against the adults who betrayed them on a futuristic, terraformed Mars. The series deals with several real-life problems such as war, slavery, child soldiers, poverty, neocolonialism, and corruption. So just for a little backstory, kind of going over Gundam as a whole. So this fits in, like I said, it's the timeline this is in is called the post-disaster timeline. It takes place after the Calamity Wars. It's unrelated to other Gundam series. The Universal Century is a big one. There's like 30 different shows in that, and movies and OVAs and all that. So yeah, you don't have to get a giant backstory for it. I'm looking at it as compared to two of the other recent Gundam shows. Origins is one, which is actually like the origin to the UC, so it follows like the upcoming of the Red Comet, who is, Char Ansabal, who is like the main baddie throughout the entire first series. And then there's also The Witch from Mercury, which is newer, and there's a new season coming out that I'm excited for, but it's kind of like slice of lifey Gundam romance weird. And I didn't want to make these guys watch that.
Hey, I appreciate you.
I wanted Gundam giant robot battles.
I mean, that's why we here. That's what we do for the mechas. And I see here it's 225 episode season, so it's not a long watch. That's good.
Yeah, it's a nice 50 episode show. Like a lot of the Gundam stuff, while it has timelines and all that, none of the shows are really more than like 50 to. Usually they're like a season or two, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, I've watched a few Gundams. I can't remember which ones, but I mean, I am forever in love with the Gundam series because it got me back into anime as an adult.
For sure. I guess to start, what'd you guys think of the opening song, Raise Your Flag?
Gas. Absolute banger. 9 out of 10.
Hell
that
yeah.
hot fire. What about you, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. It was better than the last I forget what we featured on our show last
Revengers,
time.
right?
Revenger, yeah.
I liked it better than the Revengers one. So
Yeah.
Did you guys check out the music video I sent you for the actual song from the band?
No, I didn't get to see it.
I didn't either. I was at work.
Man with a Mission, basically, their stage persona is they all have giant wolf heads on.
Oh my god.
And it's fucking gas, dude. One of the things I really liked about it though was like the combination of English lyrics and Japanese. Like I could understand 3/4 of it.
Oh really? Yeah, that is true. Kind of like what like the city pop genre does, mixing in a little bit of English.
Yes, there. But awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Tyler before we kind of got into it a little bit. Was Tyler, you typically don't like mechas. Why is that?
I mean, I wouldn't say I don't like mechas. I just um I think honestly, you want my honest opinion?
Yeah, go
Like
for it.
I think that the reason why I don't like mechas, I ain't gonna say I don't like mecha anime, but the reason why I don't like mechas is because I grew like when I played Fortnite for a long, long time, bro. And I played it like every day or every other day or whatever until the season with the mechas, bro. The the mechas was so OP and like it made me quit Fortnite. It's how bad it was. And honestly, I think that's kind of the reason why I don't like mechas. Because I just had such a bad experience on Fortnite with mechas.
So let me get this straight. You're taking an entire genre of anime,
Unrelated.
cartoons,
Unrelated.
movies,
Unrelated.
and you
It
don't like
damaged
them
me,
because
bro.
of a kid's game.
It damaged me.
Sounds like a skill issue. Oh my god, really?
You couldn't do shit in that game. The Fortnite players listening to this podcast will understand.
Oh my god.
Let
That's
let
ridiculous.
let us know in our Discord or Twitter or anything.
Yes, please come flame this man right now.
Yeah,
No.
please come flame this man.
Let Dan and Bass know how much mechas ruined the game of Fortnite. And if you have emotional damage or emotional trauma from the mechas,
If
let
you
us
have
know.
emotional trauma, please call this hotline.
Discord anime Degens. .com.
Please.
Call that hotline and flame this guy.
Yeah.
So
But yeah.
I guess to start, we can kind of get into some of like the key topics of, we only watched like, you guys will watch like 3 or 4 episodes.
4, yeah.
3.
So obviously we don't want to get too far into it. One of the big like key points of Gundam usually is politics, and we didn't get into that a lot in this one yet. But so the first thing that really stood out to me in watching this for the first time was the fact that this whole third unit of the CGS, which becomes Tekkaden, they're all kids. Like, these are like 10 to 15-year-olds who are driving mobile suits around and just fighting battles. Like, how, like, that's not something you see in a lot of shows. What do you think about that, Tyler? Because you've never really watched a Gundam.
I didn't really understand why they was all kids. Driving them around. I'm assuming maybe it has something to do with like other Gundams as well. Maybe is that correct?
Not necessarily. I mean, child soldiers are a big key point of a lot of Gundam shows, but in this, all those kids are actually human debris, which is essentially orphans from space battles whose parents have died, and then they were sold into slavery, and this organization bought them and turned them into soldiers.
So does it explain that in the first 3 episodes, or does that come later?
Oh no, it does. It talks about human debris. There's Akihiro, who is one of the main characters, and he just considers himself trash. He's basically like, yeah, I'll listen to whoever is in charge, and I'll do what they want.
Okay.
So that's a big part of it. That going off that, they get into the Alea Vinyana system, which is that implant they'll have on their back. So basically what that is a piece of technology from the Calamity War that basically connects your spine to your brain and lets data flow to your brain from a machine.
Which is sad because they're making some of these kids take on that surgery involuntarily.
Yeah, all of them are involuntaries. I guess except Mikazuki, he wanted it 3 times. He's like, "Fuck it, let's get it, baby."
I mean, he built different though.
I have a question about Mikazuki. So when he hooks up to these mobile units and stuff, he starts bleeding and stuff. Why is that exactly? Is it like, does it take a toll on his body being hooked up and fighting with him?
So that only happens with the Gundam frames. Barbato specifically is the frame that Mikazuki uses. And basically it's just that the system is so much stronger and there's so much data being sent to his brain that his nervous system is breaking down.
Okay, so as a first time watcher of Gundam, so these mobile suits you're talking about, are these the little like tank looking things that's like roaming around? Is that correct?
So that's a mobile worker. There's 3 types in this. There's mobile suits, which is like the Grays, which is the big green one that Gallahorn has.
Okay.
There's the Gundam frame Barbatos that you see in the first 3 episodes. That's the white and blue one, the classic Gundam
And
colors that
what's the kind of
Mikazuki
like
has.
difference between the mobile suits and the Barbatos or whatever, a type of suit, for
Mobile
example?
mobile workers are really there. Like it's like the Gundam equivalent of a tractor,
Yeah.
and
I'm
a
talking about like the
Gundam.
Galahorns and
Yeah,
the one Mikazuki. What's the main difference between them? Are they basically the same?
no. So Galahorn's frames are new, and Mikazuki's frame is essentially 300 years old. It's basically like looking at like a 1996 Ford GT versus like a 2022 Lamborghini.
Okay, gotcha.
Both very useful machines. But one thing that you'll notice is that the Alea Vignana system basically takes all that battle data and just hardwires it to Mikazuki, which is why he's so fucking impressive, combating or, piloting that suit.
Okay.
And it's a Gundam show, so the Gundam frames are obviously going to be broken. That's just part of
gotta
it.
be. Yeah, they gotta be. Guys, we saw these kids, these pretty much slaves, being used as soldiers, like you said, and you don't see that a lot, especially in anime, something kind of that dark. How did that guys make you feel? Bass is for the kids, so that really kind of hurt my heart there, man.
I had been on a Gundam kick when I watched this for the first time, so I didn't really bat an eye.
Oh,
But
damn.
I mean, dude, every Gundam has.
Yeah, it's usually kids. Yeah.
There's always like a 15 to 19-year-old who somehow becomes an ace pilot and saves the world.
Yeah, usually on his own accord, though.
True.
Is the big difference.
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was like some weird shit going on, with all this, but I didn't really understand the dynamic of the relationship between the kids and the people, the adults, I guess, of what is that, the first class? Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
so
first core. Yeah.
Yeah, first
basically
core.
the children are part of a unit of child
Yeah.
soldiers who were sold through slavery.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that dynamic while I was watching it. I will mention that I was a little bit tired when I was watching it, so I think some of the
Gotcha.
stuff kind of got lost on me. But
Gotcha.
Yeah. So they're pretty much slaves to them. Is what the whole dynamic was. They were making
yeah,
them do all the tasks that they didn't want to do. You saw when they had that first battle, they thought they
I
couldn't
know.
win, so they just left the kids there to defend the front while they got away.
Yeah,
So
I know they tried to run off, and I was like, why? Why are they doing that? But now it kind of makes sense, because they looked at it as like trash,
yep.
basically,
Yeah.
is what y'all said. So,
No, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you guys like the fight scenes?
Fight scenes were really good. I thought they were pretty well choreographed. I think sometimes with anime fights, it can kind of just be like flashes of light and particle effects, but actually having pretty well choreographed fights it was very, very nice. And typically Gundam does a pretty decent job at that, so I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I thought that was the best part of the show. I think I would say, was the fight scenes between what was it called, the Galahorn?
Galahorn. Yeah,
Yeah,
Galahorn.
and Mikazuki, if I
Hmm.
say that correctly.
Yep.
That those were my favorite parts of the anime. The 3 episodes that I watched. So
Yeah, I think it's the end of episode 3 where he fights the I think he's Lieutenant Crank
Yes.
in his grays, and he wins obviously because it's a fucking Gundam. You can't keep up with that. And basically, Crank says he can't go back to his division like this as a loser, and asks Mikazuki to kill him. And without blinking an eye, Mikazuki just pulls out a Glock and puts
Yeah.
3 bullets in him, just like, "Hey, here you go, buddy."
And what's up with that? Like, we seen like in an earlier episode, he goes and just kills people at his friend's wish, basically. But when he kills them, he shoots them like 2 to 3 times, like pop, pop, pop.
Got to make
Is
sure the
that just a
job's done.
thing
You
that
never
he
heard of the
does?
old double tap?
Like, I don't know, man. It just seems like a lot.
Yeah, and so that's kind of one thing I did like about it, because when Mika was killing, say like Crank, when he defeated him, he didn't even say, "Yeah, I got you." He was like, "Say less," and just started shooting him. And then right after, he like smiles and looks at his bracelet. And I thought that was really cool because typically kid soldiers are very, very ruthless. Um, especially when you force them to fight. We've seen it in Africa where like they just like way over the top. They burn down whole villages on a whim. And I think that just goes back to them being kids. It's like they're so desensitized, and this is all they know is war and hard labor and being beat up. So shooting somebody a few times and make sure they're dead is like really just not out of the way for them.
Definitely, yeah. And that brings me back to Orga too, who is kind of like the leader of this division and what becomes Tekkaden, which is basically they basically tell the adults of CGS to pound sand and form their own I guess security company is what you want to call it, called Tekkaden, which stands for Iron Flower. But Orga is kind of the leader there, and he's like maybe 16 years old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys like him as a character?
I mean, he was one of the better. I don't know how to say this. He was one of the better uh overall characters. I felt like he actually showed a little bit of emotion, uh, and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I thought he was a pretty good character. In the confines of this show, I mean, we've obviously seen way better characters from different anime, but to only have watched 3 or 4 episodes and he seemed well put together, like a good leader, like a good guy. That was awesome to see. He looked like he had his head sewn on straight when he was facing very dire circumstances. You know, him and his friends about to lose their lives, and he's like, "No, we got this. We got this. Everybody, stay calm." I thought that was really cool. And I actually watched the last 2 episodes, episodes 3 and 4, dubbed, and I was kind of surprised. The voice acting's pretty decent, honestly. And
It's
Orga actually.
Ichigo.
Oh, you're right. I was like, I know
It's,
that voice. I know
it's
that voice.
Ichigo.
I
wait,
could,
is it really?
Yeah, if you watch it dubbed, it's the same voice actor as Ichigo. I watched it dubbed this time or not because I watched it subbed last time.
Who, Orga?
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't. I watched it. I watched all 3 episodes and dubbed. I did not even know that. I didn't even notice it, bro.
Yeah, I'm
So
oblivious because I was like, I've been watching Bleach while I was watching this, like, in between episodes, and I didn't even fucking notice it. But I was like,
wow.
this Orga guy, like, whoever's playing him is a great voice actor. No shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
definitely. So I guess kind of the last topic that I'd like to get into, because it's always such a big part of Gundam, is in this specifically, the political side of it is going to be Martian independence. What did you guys think of Kudelia Ina Bernstein, the basically leader, or like, I don't want to say leader, but like the head of the Martian independence movement? What do you guys think of her?
Um, I don't really know what all to say. It looks like she's like your normal rich, like noble lady type deal. Is that correct?
For
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
And she seems like she wants to do get out and on the front lines and help the causes, but she's actually like way too afraid, kind of as well. And it seems like she would definitely get in the way. If she did try to get out there, she would probably cause more harm than she would help. Is what it seemed like her character felt like to me. Also, it seemed like she had a crush on Mikazuki. I don't know if that's going to play into the storyline later on, but it seemed like it was a potential love interest if Mikazuki showed any ounce of emotion at all. So, which he doesn't.
He's playing it cool right now. I think when they first met, he like just didn't like respect her at all.
Yeah.
Because right off the bat, he just doesn't shake her hand. And she's like, "I want us to be on equal footing." And he was like, "Oh, that implies that we're not," and like walks away and says, "Come follow me." But I think their relationship's going to change a lot. I think they're going to probably get pretty tight eventually, just kind of how they're setting it up. But I thought Kulita, however
Kudelia.
yeah, what you said. Um, I thought she was really cool that she was even wanting to actually trying to help on the front lines. But I think she started to realize after a couple episodes is like, that's not the place for her. She just doesn't, that she doesn't have that those skills. I don't think she has that in her heart. She was hating that people were dying, quote unquote, over her and her actions. And she kind of learned is like, these people are doing this stuff on their own free will and kind of like bump down her ego in her head, and that was really cool to see. She even like cooks for some of the kids, or tries to at least. And so I thought she was a good character as well.
Yeah, I think through 3 episodes or 3 or 4 episodes, there's so much character development in this show. You'll if you guys continue it, you'll see a lot of that. The one thing I would like to say about her is there's a drinking game for this show that you take a shot every time somebody says her full name
Oh wow.
because it happens way more than it should.
Yeah, and it's a long name. It's a long name too.
And it's one of the funnier things about this show. But yeah, I guess going into that's kind of like the overarching themes you can get from the first 3 episodes. There's an awesome fight scene, but there isn't really a lot it gets into because they haven't made it to space yet. So that's where they're going next. Basically, Tekkadan is hired by Kudelia to get her to Earth, where she's gonna go, put in front of delegates from the Earth Nation. I can't remember what they call it in this one. They have a different name for the Earth Sphere Federation in every single Gundam. But so that's like the plan, and that's where the show goes from there. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting about this show is that it received a lot of criticism at first for the harsh themes, and like people wanted like a PG-13 essentially rating on this, which you don't see a lot in anime. So I thought that was really interesting.
I could believe that. It was harsh at times, and calling children human debris is kind of nuts. There's a lot of harsh language, so I wouldn't be mad at a parent if they were like, "Hey, this needs to be PG-13." I'd be like, "Yeah, that's completely understandable." Now we're not that we're gonna do it, but I get where you're coming from.
But the thing is like, if they make this like PG-13, then how many other anime shows, like a majority of anime shows, is gonna have to be put as PG-13 because most of
Exactly.
them show like a lot of shit like this,
Oh yeah,
kinda.
and a lot are way more violent
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
So,
graphic than this.
I guess it's not the violence; it's more the themes. I mean,
yeah.
child
Yeah.
soldiers, human beings considered trash, all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was just an interesting thing when I was reading up on it. I guess we'll hop into some ratings. So I've seen this whole show already. I'm giving it a 6.8 out of 10. I thought the animation is okay. The OST is fantastic. The music in the background is fucking awesome. The fights are well produced, but the characters aren't as memorable as some of the other Gundam series. So that's what I gave it. What do you guys think? With only seeing 3 or 4 episodes, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna give it about a 6. I think it's a little bit better than mid, but like you said, I'm only 4 episodes in. I was liking it.
Yeah. After like 3, I know y'all want to hear my first take on my second mecha show, with the first one being Darling and Franks, which I really enjoyed. But I went into this with an open mind, because I love all genres of anime, basically. Uh, but just kind of start this off, like the fighting scenes with the mobile suits and stuff, they was pretty cool and fun. That's one of the things I most enjoyed about it. Um, the things I didn't really like, the characters were kind of dry and emotionless, like pretty much all of them. The story seemed to have some kind of promise to it, but it kind of was super slow starting out for me. Like I said, it could have been because I was tired and I didn't really understand what all was going on, I guess you can say.
Mhm.
Um, I think that if the characters had more life in them, acted like they had more life in them, then I think I'd like this a little bit more. But seeing as they're like all like basically statues and emotionless, kids, which I guess given the circumstances, it's understandable. But I felt like Biscuit and his sisters was like the most lively thing about this show,
I really
and
like
I enjoyed
Biscuit.
watching them. So
Yeah, Biscuit was really cool, and um, Gundams always seem to start off fairly slow because they kind of have to intertwine the politics. Usually, kind of the
yeah,
politics come to the forefront after a while, but they have to set all that stuff up. So
but
I think the characters will get better overall. Like you
They
said,
do.
they were actually pretty flat. I agree with that.
yeah.
But I think they're setting up a lot of stuff that'll be good in the future.
So I would probably give it like a high 4 or a low 5 right now. And as far as watching more in the future, I just got to know, like, does the story get more interesting? Do the characters develop emotions at some point down the line? Uh, I mean, those are the two things I really would like to know before I went further with this show. Honestly,
Yeah, there's a lot of personal growth in this show
yeah,
for all the characters. Obviously, they're going into essentially a war the entire time, so
yeah,
there's death, there's this, there's that, and you see a lot of personal growth these characters. I mean, Akihiro specifically, like I'm not giving away a lot of spoilers here, but
yeah.
he starts to see himself as more than just a pile of trash, and stuff like that. So you
That's
see that with a
important.
lot. You see that with a lot of the kids. They start taking on like more roles in Tekkadan or in other areas and stuff like that. So there's a lot of growth in this show.
Okay. So I mean, like I said, I'd be open to watching more, especially if it does get better because I thought it had promise. It was just a couple of things I didn't like. So,
Definitely.
but
Yeah. I feel like the thing I've come to realize doing a lot of these first looks is it's really hard to gauge a show off
yeah,
of 3 episodes, especially
It
when the show
is,
is
man.
certain shows not so hard, but when it's like 50 episodes or 100 episodes, it's like, oh, we might have to give it a little more, maybe like,
yeah,
Yeah, I completely understand. That's why I usually try to go easy on my rating. Um,
yeah.
Try to stay open minded with it because I just don't know much yet. Like you said, especially with these longer shows, 50, 100 episodes, a lot can happen. A whole lot can happen. So I usually try to look at the potential more than my actual enjoyment of the first 4 episodes.
definitely. Well, awesome. You guys want to get into the weekly rundown, Tyler? I think we're going to start with Buddy Daddies if you want to get us going on that.
Oh yeah. So the weekly rundown. We're gonna do Buddy Daddies, One Piece, and My Hero Academia. And obviously, if you haven't watched it yet, there will be spoilers. And now is your time to pause the podcast and go watch them if you don't want to be spoiled. But now we're gonna be starting on Buddy Daddies 10 Lost at Sea. So Kazuki and Ray discuss what they should get Miri for Christmas. Suddenly, they run into Miri's mother at the daycare. Miri's mother tells Kazuki and Ray that she wants to take Miri back with her, but Kazuki refuses to give her over after everything they've been through. Miri notices her mother and rushes towards her, baffling Kazuki. Uh, so this episode made me laugh a lot, which was much needed because it helped with the few emotional moments that they threw in here. Speaking of which, what was your initial thoughts when you saw Mary's mom pull up at the daycare?
Well, for me, it was a couple of emotions. I was angry, because her mother, first of all, abandoned her, and when they tried to give her back, she was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah,
But in a much more devastating way, I think. Um, so I was mad. I was disappointed because I think Kazuki and Ray just got to a point where they're doing a really good job. They've always been giving it their all, but they started doing a lot better here, especially Ray. And I don't know. I didn't like it. It was like a visceral reaction to it. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. I was kind of, I don't want to say angry, but I was kind of like, why? What are you doing here? And,
Hmm.
obviously Miri, she's 4 years old, and I can entirely understand why she was ecstatic when she saw her mother. Um, but yeah, I think it really hurt Kazuki and Ray deep down to see Miri react like that to her mom, who hasn't been in her life at all in the last year.
Yeah, and
yeah,
as a 4-year-old, she doesn't understand. Oh, my mom didn't come
yeah,
looking for me. You know, from where she's seeing it, oh, mom finally found me.
yeah. Mom finally came back.
Exactly.
So that's just way
Yeah,
little kids are.
definitely. And seeing Kazuki's reaction to that was, it made me like him more as a character. He was pissed. He was royally pissed, and Ray had to actually like settle him down because it was in front of all the other daycare parents, and he was basically calling like he was like "fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." Like he didn't say that, but that's what he was basically saying.
Oh yeah, he was gonna get around to that.
And Ray calmed him down, which I thought was very mature of Ray, especially for a dude who just wants to play Mario Kart.
Hilarious.
Yeah. I thought that that was a smart move by Ray as well because, if Mary had seen, the papas like going after her mama, like that could have been very bad because like we said she doesn't understand what's going on. She doesn't understand why her mom hasn't been around and she doesn't understand why her mom has come back. She just knows that she has come back, and if she was to see them fighting, then obviously, she would get heartbroken basically to
Very,
see
very
that.
true. There'd be a lot of conflicting feelings for a young child. Um, but I also understood why like Kazuki got so angry because he was the person that actually talked to her and tried to get her to take her back, and just to see how she firsthand how she talked about Miri, which is an adorable child, um, really pissed him off. So I think it was appropriate that he got that angry and a little bit in his emotions there. Um,
Definitely.
but
As
so
they
the
always
story was,
say,
Mhm.
as they always say, right place, right time, right?
Yes, sir. And a lot of times it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah.
But so Miri's mom's story was that she got fired. She had cancer in her throat or whatever, and she can't sing, so she doesn't have a job. And that kind of brought her back around to Miri. Um, I don't know if I'm buying it. I don't know if I'm entirely buying it. She showed us a scar or whatever. Um, but it just seemed like a very convenient timing that Q reached out to her and that happened at the same time, guys. You guys think that's just a coincidence, or you think she's telling the truth?
I want to believe it. I really do. And like, I feel like it's hard to fake a surgery scar like that on your neck.
Hey, they got some good makeup out here nowadays, boy.
I know, but deep down, I just really want to believe it. Miri's young enough where it's not too late to try and rekindle that relationship.
Very true.
And from the other side too, like you said, Q reached out to her because, Ray and Kazuki are gonna like potentially put
They're
this girl in some
targets.
serious danger because of everything going on in the
Yeah,
organization that they work for. And deep down after that, I was like, oh, she really is trying to do what's best for Miri. And she's gonna go live at her parents' house and hopefully give this girl a good life for as long as she can. And it was, heartbreaking to see that from the standpoint of Kazuki and Ray, but deep down I do think it's probably best for Miri, if that makes sense.
yeah, I think so too. Because yeah, they got some targets on their back. There's a lot going on in their Hitman world. Um,
Yeah.
but Tyler, do you think Q was right in doing that? I think we had Dan explain it a little bit here, but what were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, like, whatever options did he have? Like he could choose to, uh, like ignore it and ignore the request of Ray's family's business or whatever, um, and possibly get Ray and them hurt or even killed along with Mary, uh, or he could go to them and let them know or whatever. And then obviously Ray and Kazuki would probably try to react to Ray's father as well, which could result in, a lot of bad shit happening. So I felt like that this was the smartest move for him and also for them as well. Um, for now, anyways, because for one, it got Miri out of there and it also gave Kazuki and Ray the chance to not have to make the difficult decision to take on Ray's father and his family if that was the route that they could have went. So
Right.
Yeah, I think when Ray heard that Q reached out to him and then they showed him that picture of Ray, Kazuki, and Miri at the field day, I think it really hit home for him because he just had to go kill his previous mentor. Because all the dude did was fall in love,
yeah,
and
Yep.
he saw what they did to that relationship. And I think he understands the kind of danger that Miri is in. And I think he
Very true.
is kind of the catalyst for getting Kazuki to understand, everything going on here and what could potentially happen. So I think, they all realize deep down this is what's best for Miri. as much as it sucks,
Yeah, it was so sad. It was so sad.
I mean,
Bittersweet episode.
yeah, I mean, will her mother treat her right in the future? I mean, she might for a little while, but forever. Who knows? She seems like the type that like is very selfish. I think that'll
Yeah,
come back in the future as well. So I guess we'll see. It's a better situation there than it is with Ray and them as of right now. So
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Hopefully
I think
hopefully that cancer diagnosis kind of changes her priorities. A lot
I
of people
think
change when they stare in the Reaper in the face.
I was gonna say I think that's what happened, and I think that there might be some financial incentive from Q and potentially Ray and Kazuki supporting Miri deep down after with financially with what they make.
That's true. Kazuki can actually give his money to somebody that wants it.
Yeah, and
so I kind of thought that the mom kind of forgot about Mary, and I think that when Kyu brought it up to her, she actually realized that oh shit, I have a daughter, and that's when she started like thinking more and more about her new life after all this other shit has happened to her. I honestly think that kind of happened because why wouldn't she come straight to Mary after all that shit happened instead of waiting for Q to reach out to her, unless it's money
Exactly.
like Dan's talking about.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that has something to do with it.
Either way,
Um,
that's pretty trashy.
well,
yeah,
she's a trashy lady.
Yeah.
Good gosh. One thing that I like that we saw towards the end of the episode here, Kazuki finally brought up his hypocrisy, talking about returning the cat at the beginning of the show, and he says, if you're not prepared, it's better just to not get involved at all. And Ray was like, that's a very cruel thing to say, but I think it does actually apply to this situation. Maybe they should have never picked her up in the first place, as great as the story's been. There's orphanages, and bringing her into this dangerous world and this really fantasy world life that they were living in I think is going to be detrimental overall to everybody.
yeah. I mean, it's a tough thing because you can't compare a child to a cat,
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I've
and
seen
in
some
that,
parents do that, but okay.
okay,
No,
well,
I'm
good
just messing
people,
with you,
good
dude. Yeah, yeah,
people,
yeah,
good
yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
can't compare a child to a cat, and I think that even after growing to love Miri and all of that, they aren't prepared to put her in danger. And I think that's what he kind of meant by that. Before that, though, this conversation happened on top of a Ferris wheel. And the episode got really cute and fun for a while. Basically, they gave Miri like the best day ever kind of life. And
Yeah, it was
took
awesome.
her to the mall, took her to like this, like the equivalent of like a Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, with like climbing towers and ropes and all that kind of stuff. They had a really good day. But at the end of the episode, basically they tell Miri that she's going for a sleepover at her mom's house. That way they don't have to say goodbye in like a heartbreaking sense, which had to be so fucking tough for those guys, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, she wouldn't really understand the situation. She would just think that, oh, they're leaving me. They don't want me, type of thing, probably. So
Yeah, that was really sad. And when you're dealing with kids, you got to be careful about stuff like that. I used to teach kids how to read at a local elementary school, and when I quit working there, I had to go tell all my kids individually, "Hey, I have to. I'm moving, and blah 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 blah." And I had tell them how great they are, so that way, if I just disappeared, it could have some long standing consequences for kids. So you got to be careful when you're doing stuff like this with children.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like if that's how it's gonna. I mean, it's not gonna end like that. There's like 3 more episodes, so we're gonna have something exciting happen. But I feel like not getting closure is gonna be really detrimental to Kazuki specifically, because
but I
I don't know how
do,
he's gonna be able to handle that, man.
but I do like that he actually gave Miri his scarf. So you know that just in case they was to not meet up again, at least she has something to remember them by. I guess in the future when she actually does grow up, but I'm with you though. Like, I really hope this isn't the last time we see Miri this season. But I don't know if there's a second season coming or not. But no.
No, from what I understand, this is a one shot. I mean, it's not
Uh,
based on a manga. I think it's going to be a one shot, one season
Okay.
kind of show. But yeah, I'm excited to see how the conclusion is because I think we have like 2 or 3 episodes left. So excited for that.
Yeah, I am. I just hope they don't make me cry. That'd be nice.
Do we
Yeah.
think that Ray and Kazuki will try to take on Ray's father and them to maybe be able to get Miri back?
I don't know. They basically said in it that like I guess we can't have a normal life. So I'm not sure, I'm curious to see where they go from here. But
I hope
speaking
I hope that they absolutely fry Ray's clan. I hope they absolutely fry those boys, cook them,
burn it to the ground.
all
But
of it.
but speaking of crying, do you guys want to get to our My Hero Academia episode this week?
Oh boy. Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay. So we're gonna move on to My Hero Academia 137, A Young Woman's Determination. Um, so the summary is Uraraka finds her own voice when it becomes apparent that someone needs to step up and convince the refugees that Deku needs their help. She knows that Deku is the key to saving the world, so she chooses to speak out to the angry crowd in order to try to explain the situation. So we're getting really close to the end of the season, and this episode is another emotional roller coaster, as Dan said. But it's also such a damn good moment for My Hero. But before we get into all that, we open up this episode with them talking about the newly added ultra security system at UA High School or UA Hero School. Dan, what all does UA have to prevent another Tartarus event from happening?
Yeah, so the beginning of this, they get into some really cool technology, and being an engineer, I fucking love this shit. So they get into basically the entire campus is set up on a grid, and in the event of an attack, they can smash the "oh shit, we're fucked" button, and all of these sections of the campus are just gonna fly underground using a magnetic levitation system. They're gonna end up like 3,000 feet underground onto a train line equivalent to like the Hyperloop, like Elon Musk's grand plan to fix like traffic. And they're going to launch them to all these other safe areas throughout the island of Japan. The other schools, what other safety areas, evacuation areas they have. So Principal Nezu is fucking wilding for this shit, and he was
Yeah.
basically like, "Yeah, nobody else could do it, so I paid for it myself."
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. I was like, what kind of pockets does this man have? I mean, because we're talking about that Hyperloop system, and this is real world though, but it's supposed to go from France to not France, San Fran to LA, same continent, same continent. But it costs like $100 million per kilometer. That's 0.6 miles for our guys out there in the United States. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Prez got some ducats. He must have put his life savings into this. I just thought it was ridiculous that it had like this much defense. I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was fucking awesome, dude. This is like doomsday level of like preparedness right here. And frankly, with All for One and Shigaraki, they got to deal with that, man. And this is the way to do it.
It is. It is. I want to see what happens when if this stuff actually works when somebody rolls up. But we will see.
They also mention in it too to combat Toga. They have like a vetting system or something like that, like a limbo kind of deal where they hold them for a certain amount of time because they figured out how long her quirk lasts or whatever to turn into other people or whatever. So
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty interesting for them to talk about as well.
right, because that's a really powerful
Yeah.
infiltration quirk she has. Yeah, so they figured out how much blood she needs minimum to transform and the amount of blood for like time ratio, which kudos to them for that.
Yeah. They went hardcore.
They sure did. They sure did. I kind of thought the defense the defense barrier was a little bit of an ass pull. It's just got so much technology. You're gonna put this giant area into a grid system on platforms levitated by magnetics. Well, that's real world technology, but not cheap. But then you're gonna transport them 3,000 feet underground and have them haul off all over to the Japan.
Yeah,
Where
dude.
are the workers that built this? Japan is in ruins, but you know what? I'm not gonna go off on a tangent there. What did you guys like?
Well,
Did you guys think it like came out of nowhere? Like,
Did
how do you
it?
feel about it?
They built this well before Japan
Yeah.
was
Oh.
destroyed. They built
Oh.
this in preparation for the
redo of
school festival,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That is right. He did say that. Yeah. You
So
are
this was
correct.
a while ago, but
Okay.
regardless, where the fuck do you get the money and the time to do this without anybody noticing?
Yo, how come like we watched them at the school for a long time and there was no
Almost
construction,
the
bro?
entire time of the show.
Like
No
how long were
construction.
the work studies? Because that's the only time they could have pulled this shit off. And frankly, those are like 2 weeks. This is like a monumental engineering fucking process. I watch companies take a year and a half to build a 3D printer.
Yes.
And these guys built like
Look, man, the freeway by my house has been under construction for 5 years, and they got this done in a few months. Give me a
Few
break,
weeks,
dog.
dude.
Give
Hey,
me a
man.
break.
We don't know how much money UA's got. That's top school, dog. That's top school.
I just felt like it was they had to figure out a way to bring Class 1A back into the plot. And this was it. This was definitely the way they brought Class 1A back into the plot.
Well, I mean, going off of that though, I mean, we watched Midoriya just like crumble as a human, and Best Genius gets into it really well, talking about how like we need to support our heroes and help them recoup.
Yeah.
And that's the safest place for him to do it, you know? He's protected by his classmates, some top heroes. I mean, he's in the freaking most impenetrable fortress in the world, I guess now. Like, I think it's the right move, but
It is.
I do
guess-
think it's the right move too, so
But as we saw in the last episode, the people who were basically in sanctuary at UA are not happy about it. And we're going to have to get into, obviously, the main point of the episode was Uraraka going off on a little bit of a rant on
That was
why
a-
Deku should be here and everything else. But what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, so we had seen her, ask this question to herself multiple times over the last couple seasons. Who protects heroes when they need protection, or something along those lines. So I could see why she would make this speech, but I thought it was grounded in a lot of reason. It was emotional, obviously, because of what was going on, and they had Deku standing there looking beat down and had a bunch of mud on him. But she kind of had to pull everybody together and be like, "Hey, it's not just us trying to survive. It's not just the heroes out here trying to save you. Like, we need your help too. You're gonna have to make some concessions so we can actually finish this job." So I thought it was really good. It was a good speech. Great rant, and very emotional. What about you, Tyler?
yeah, I mean, I definitely did not cry during this one, so I definitely did not.
I'm happy for you. Good.
Yeah, I'm just kidding, bro. But yeah, she brought up like a lot of points, and you could actually feel it in her speech that it was full of emotions, like you said, and she hit home on a lot of stuff. And what really got their attention, what I really liked the most about it, is that all these people complaining about Deku being there, not one of them looked at him 100%. Not one of them like really homed in and looked at the shape he was in until Ochako, said, "Will you just look at him? Just look at him. See the shape he's in." And why is he in that shape? Because he's out there protecting y'all right now. He's one of our only hopes, for um saving this world right now and getting it back to where it used to be. So the speech was like top tier,
Yeah, I think it
in
was.
my opinion.
And like she even said, it's like, it doesn't have to be permanent. I think with this change of mood that we're seeing, it could be. She was like, "Hey, he just needs to rest."
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, just look at him. He's an absolute mess right now. He can't go on much longer like this. Would you want your high school kid out there fighting like this and looking like this and feeling like this? So it was good. What was your thoughts on the speech, Dan?
I really liked it. Obviously it had so much emotion behind it, and it just really drove the point home to these people to actually, like Tyler said, take a look at Midoriya and see the shape he's in. And she's said it a few times, is like the heroes look after everybody, but who looks after the heroes? And this moment just drove that home for me.
Hmm. And I believe last episode we were talking about how maybe Mother Deku would come forward and start talking to the people. It ended up being Ochako coming forward. Do you guys think that Mother Deku's words could have hit a little harder than Ochako's, or you think this was fine?
No, I thought it was good the way they did it. I mean, we were hoping for that. We knew it wasn't going to
Yeah.
happen. But I think the thing that really drove this home for me was seeing Kota, the little boy that Deku saved back in the summer training arc, and the dummy thick animal lady. I don't know her name. She doesn't have one.
She literally
But
doesn't have one online.
we
It's kind of
couldn't
nuts.
find one. But those two running to Deku and embracing him, I think, was the moment that really drove it home for me and for everybody there. Being like, this guy is a hero. He has saved these people, and we need to help him out.
Yes, I love that. I think they call him like Anamorpheus or something like that. That the person you were just talking about. I love that she got her little. I thought it was a little shade there. So we should help the crybaby hero, and I was like, finally, somebody's called him what he is. Oh man! But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. That was just a really good scene because we haven't seen Coda a whole lot since back in the day, and he really came in clutch right now. So, uh, but I really liked that. Someone asked like Deku, that if he stays there and rests, will things go back to the way they were before? And Deku just responds by saying, "I'll get it back." Like that's how Deku is real. That's
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
he's ready. He's
great.
serious about this. I was thinking about myself if I was in that situation and somebody asked me, I'm like, well, we can. I would have like half stepped it, but he did a good job of like going ahead, confirming and backing up these people's feelings because they're afraid, they're insecure.
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah. I think this episode did such a good job kind of culminating so many themes of My Hero Academia, but the one it really drove home was just that, the heroes deep down are just people, no matter how big they are. I mean, All Might is just a person deep down too, and like that didn't really get shown until he kind of retired, and this really drove it home too for me. So
Very true. Great episode.
and
awesome.
I also want to bring up at the end, we see Stain trailing All Might, looking sinister, bro. What's up with that?
I'm gonna stick to my guns on this one. I'm gonna stick to my guns and say he's just looking for an opportunity to talk to him.
You think
Even
so?
even as sinister that he is, he said with his own mouth that he really respects All Might. He doesn't like fake heroes. He likes Deku and he likes All Might. So I don't think he's falling around to hurt him. I could either be like some shadow protection, or he's just waiting for an opportunity to speak to him. That's what I think, and I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I'm with Bass on that one. That's the same feeling I had at first. I mean, Stained, he doesn't hate heroes. He hates what hero society has become or became. It's not really there anymore.
Correct.
And, he wants heroes to actually be heroes, not in it for fame, not in it for money, in it for protecting people. And I think Stain respects, both Deku and All Might in that sense. And I think that he doesn't like the world with All for One in charge. I mean, that's no better,
Yeah. Yeah, I normally wouldn't agree with y'all, but it seems like they're making it too obvious because every time we see him, he's looking like
Yep.
he's ready to murder someone, murder All Might and them.
He's a dude
So
without a nose. He looks like Voldemort,
yeah,
dude.
so I think they're trying really hard to make us believe that he's gonna try to do something to All Might, but I think it's gonna be something like what y'all talking about too.
Yeah, I
But
think so. Because he could have attacked All Might at any point.
yeah,
He's not big boy All Might anymore. I don't even know if he's got that kind of if he's got that energy left in him. So I think he could have
No.
attacked him if he wanted to. You know,
Yeah,
at
All
this
Might's
point, he's been
got
following him around for months or
All
weeks or
Might's
whatever it is.
All Might's got about 15 seconds into a big boy mode, and then he goes back to coughing up blood. So, but
Yeah.
overall, I think a fantastic episode. I'm really excited to see. I think the next episode is the season finale.
is
I'm
it?
not
All
e-
right.
I think it's the season finale. I think we got one more, and excited to see where it goes. And we know we're getting a big old fucking cliffhanger. Like it's got to happen.
yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's gonna be massive.
But on
And
that note,
then we'll go on break.
yeah, well, we're going probably. I think I can't remember if My Hero's been doing one season a year or like a spring and a fall. I think they've been doing a
Pretty
spring
sure
and a
they've
fall.
been doing 2 cowers. So
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So I think we'll pick that back up in the fall. But
Love that.
on that note, should we get into the GOAT piece, which is back after a
Goat
2-week hiatus?
piece.
hell yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to One Piece 1054, titled "Death to Your Partner: Killer's Deadly Gamble." And just a quick summary before we start. Killer continues his battle against Hawkins, but the battle is not in his favor. Thanks to his Devil Fruit abilities, Hawkins has total immunity from Killer's attack, with the damage inflicted being redirected to Kid. Killer's subordinates arrive to his aid, but Killer refuses to attack Hawkins still. Like Dan said, One Piece is finally back after a couple weeks. And in this episode, we finally get to see Kid and Law fighting Big Mom again. We also see Killer going after Hawkins. Speaking of Hawkins, his power is hella unique. And it's kind of hard to fight against, ain't it, Bass?
Oh yes. So Hawkins possesses the straw fruit, and what it does is he has the ability to take damage through uh, prepared puppets, like within his body. And I forget how he actually ties these to individual characters or people, but he can put it. Say you're going to lop off his head, he'll say, "Okay, this puppet is going to take control of, take this damage, and it's actually going to lop your friend's head off that he has control over their body or their damage." So it can, if he has somebody you care about under control, that's a big issue. You know, if it's a grunt or somebody you don't know, not a big deal. But yeah, Killer was in a situation where he couldn't hit him because of he had Kid's puppet on him. Um, I have a question for you guys. I don't know if this is part of his power, but what are those cards he's carrying around with with like the fortune teller cards? Is that part of his power?
No, it's not part of his power. It's just part of his character. He
Okay.
is really big into like the tarot card esque style things. And each of those cards in tarot, basically each card has like a second meaning behind it.
Yes.
And we see that very clearly in this one. I guess we'll get right into it because we're there. So there's a scene where during this fight with Killer, Killer kind of figures out a way to defeat Hawkins without injuring Kid.
Super dope.
This was the scene I was really excited to see animated. So
Yeah.
basically, we all know Kid doesn't have an arm. Thanks to our good friend Shanks here.
They were fucking
And
with the wrong man. Yep.
Killer thinks about this mid-fight and lops off Hawkins' arm. And Hawkins is just so surprised when he's damaged. And he loses his arm. His arm is on the ground. It is cut off clean. And it's just, Killer's like, "Oh, Kid doesn't have an arm, so I thought this might hit you." And you see Killer go over to the arm and pull the Kid's straw puppet out. And it just basically falls apart in his hands. And then he just goes back over to Kid, who's fighting Big Mom. He's like, "Oh, fuck, I feel great, boys. Let's fucking get it."
Yeah. Kid was in a bad spot, man.
But during this, you see Hawkins pull out a tarot card, which is the Tower. And I'm pretty sure this is the meaning behind the Tower, like actually in tarot cards. And that is basically like the turn of an era, out with the old, in with the new. And you see that, and basically this is foreshadowing that the emperors of the sea that they're fighting are going to go down, which is fucking awesome.
That is sick. That is sick. I figure that's some kind of what that card meant, or something like it. During Kid's fight with Hawkins, Killer's fight with Hawkins. Hawkins says to Killer, I bet you're regretting your choices right now. One, Killer's had to eat one of those smile fruits, and he instead of crying or making other sounds, all he can do is laugh. But do you guys think that Hawkins was actually regretting his choice and joining the animal pirates? Because he seemed pretty sure about himself, maybe until the end there.
I think deep down, Hawkins has always regretted that. It's kind of one of those things. I mean, when you're a member of the worst generation, you're like one of the most powerful up and coming pirates there is. And you just get put in a body bag like that by an Emperor of the Sea. Like, you don't really have another choice,
Right.
Like, it's that or die. And I think he just did what he had to survive. But I don't think he likes working under Kaido. I mean, he's been living a pretty good life since then, being a member of the, Animal Kingdom pirates. But I just think deep down, I mean, you can't be a pirate like that and not be driven,
That's very, very true. Very, very
I
true.
mean, he could have been like kidding them and chose to stand up to Kaido as well, but he chose the safe route and became a follower, but just because he was scared of Kaido. And when you aspire to be the best of the best, like obviously all the worst gen pirates want to be, like obviously if you look back and you see that, well, shit, nothing really happened to Kid and them because they did stand up to Kaido, then obviously you're gonna regret that because you could have been in the same boat they are in and try to be the best pirate as well.
I'm going to
But
counter that, though, because if it wasn't for Luffy coming to Wano, Kid and Killer would still be rotting away in jail.
Very true. They got
There's
lucky.
They got really lucky. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Like, this wasn't that they didn't get out of the prison or what with just their abilities,
yeah,
And Orochimaru would have never given Killer a smile fruit to say, hey, if you eat this, I'll let you, try and save your captain. And I mean, in reality, all Orochimaru did was why am I saying Orochimaru? I mean,
You said it twice. I was gonna let it slide the first time, but
Orochi.
goddamn.
or
Orochi, sorry.
Yeah, you're
the
good,
king. A lot of shows, a lot of names. Orochi, the freaking king of Wano, basically like makes him go fight Zoro. Like it wasn't like, hey, yeah, you guys are, they would have been rotting in jail still if it wasn't for that. So
Very true.
I don't think that they made the right decision there in essence of like surviving. They got fucking lucky thanks to a certain
but to be
strong
honest,
pirate group.
like later on, like as we see, it did work out for them though.
It did, but it wasn't under their own power.
No, it wasn't under their own power, but
Plot
it
armor.
still worked out for them, And
Big plot
if Hawkins would have, stuck with, on the other side, he would have been in the same position as they are now, helping Luffy fight Kaido instead of getting shit on. So
I guess if I was put in their shoes, I probably would have become a subordinate. Like, if
I
I'm
would,
being honest with you.
100%.
Yeah.
But I think when this raid happened, I think I might have jumped sides at that point because
But the
what's really
thing
stopping
is
them from doing that?
But the thing is, if you want to be the best of the best, like Kid and them, Kid, Law, and all of them, would Luffy ever become a subordinate, or would he like stand? Like
That's
he
not
would
in his
he would
blood, dog.
rather die, just
Well,
like Kid
that's-
would rather die.
Like I think that's one of the big defining characters that makes those three pirates so great.
Yeah.
And I don't think Hawkins and Oppo had that, in them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like to be the best of the best, you have to like not give in just because you're scared. You have to stick with your
No,
guns.
that's true. But they were just being practical. I don't
Yeah.
blame them for that.
And again, until Hawkins saw this tower card, I don't think he thought that anything was going to change. I still think he thought that Kaido was going to win it all. If
which
he
is like
doesn't,
a major weakness of his, I think, is following those cards so religiously. He puts too much trust in them. Because if he just looked around and saw what was going on around him, he was like, oh, this guy pretty much has me under him. I don't want to be here. This is my chance. This is as good a chance as I'm going to get.
Yeah, you got to remember though, he was living a pretty good life under Kaido. I mean, he had all the food he
But
wanted.
I mean, if he had that dog in him, he could have flipped.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying is I just don't think he had that dog in him,
Yeah, that's very fair. So that whole arm slicing maneuver by Killer was set up in episode 923, 131 episodes ago. I thought that was amazing. I love when Oda does this. Um, and I don't, even though I know Kid doesn't have an arm, it was still unexpected, but I kind of figured it out when Killer did. It's like, oh, I'll just slice his fucking arm off. He'll be fine. But I just love when storytellers set something like that up. Because, at the time I'm thinking, like, that's a huge hit. That sucks. He lost his arm. He has a power where he can still kind of use it in a way. But has there been any other moments in this manga, in this anime or another, where there's been a really long setup that you guys have loved or liked?
All of One Piece.
It really is just one long setup. It's fucking awesome.
One of the biggest long cons ever is coming, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but one of the biggest long cons ever is coming, like 800 episodes ago, like...
That's exciting. Okay, I'm here for this.
So obviously we're going to get there eventually. I think probably like June is my guess.
And I think when we're talking about long setups, I want to say, like, I have one, but it's not really a setup that's happened or in the manga or the anime yet. But I really think it's a setup that could be potentially a possibility to happen. And that's a setup for Blackbeard. So we seen, like, back in the day, back before they got to Skypiea, Luffy actually met Blackbeard. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, for sure.
And he talks about, he says that, the new era was a load of crap, and that they believe that the day a pirate's dreaming of treasure will come to an end. And he laughs and says that the dreams of pirates will never end. And that kind of, like, I think that kind of inspired Luffy back then somewhat, even more than he already was. And he also, like, told him about um he also confirmed that Sky Island was a thing, I think, back then. And that he hoped that Luffy found his way to Sky Island. Um and just general stuff like that. And I think that he knew that Luffy was gonna be, like, one of the top, dogs in the world, just by how he handled himself in those situations back then. And um like, when Luffy and Blackbeard finally meet in the future, and y'all know it's gonna happen, but I think that they will look back upon this moment before Skypiea ahead about when Luffy first met Blackbeard, and they're gonna look back on it, and this is gonna be a long ass setup that Oda's fixing to pull. What do y'all think?
I mean, they've already met a couple times since then. I mean, they met in Impel Down when Blackbeard broke in to basically assemble his crew, and they also met at Marineford. So I think they have a few times since then, but it's definitely building up to the final fight. I don't necessarily think that Blackbeard was thinking all that about Luffy. I think he was just being conceited and thinking about himself. Because, Blackbeard is gonna be top. He's one of the top dogs, and he knew he was gonna be because of his game plan. And he wants the One Piece just as bad as everybody else,
Oh yeah, I love how Blackbeard and Luffy are foils of each other. I think they have, like, similar values, but how they go about expressing those values is the complete opposite.
I mean,
it's pretty, like, jarring how different they are, but still at the same time very, very similar.
Yeah. I think it's a big difference between freedom versus subjugation. Like Luffy wants to be the freest man alive, and Blackbeard wants to essentially rule the world. So you gotta look at it both ways,
That's very true. Yep.
and also Luffy, like, wants to do everything to protect his friends, whereas Blackbeard, would kill his
He's
friends.
he's got no real friends. There's people he pulled out of prison.
Yeah. So
definitely. Well, I guess going back from that sidebar, how do we feel about Kid and Law going at it with Big Mom? Do you guys have any highlights from that fight?
Oh yes, when Big Mom used Mama Raid and, like, jumped up in the air and started spinning, I didn't know old girl had that much motion in her. I just thought she was a tank, man. So I thought that my eyes opened a little bit when she did that, and I thought old Kid might get gravely injured. The situation he was in, and Law kind of, like, having his back and keeping everything together. He's been doing that this entire raid. He's been a really great utility.
He's been doing that since Dressrosa, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
actually before then, he's been doing it since Punk Hazard. You know, he's always been that guy. He's always had everybody's back. So it definitely was awesome to see that fight, though. I mean, Big Mom is fucking terrifying. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it. She's fucking terrifying.
Oh yes,
she's like a god, you know.
No, she really is though. A guy of her own little world. She can create life out of inanimate things and out of her imagination. That's godlike, and she's an actual terror.
Definitely. Just wait. I mean, imagine if she was hungry right now, dude.
That's what I've been waiting on. I'm trying to see her rampage. She's extremely terrifying in that situation as well, because she'll just hurt whoever.
Yeah, she's just like playing right now. I feel like.
Oh yeah, she's not trying to lay down the law on them. I think if
gonna lay down the law.
Oh no, man.
I think if she was going super hard, they'd be in a bad spot.
Yeah, one of the things I did like about this episode, it feels like a little, like not a lot happened, but a little more happened than what we've been getting lately. So that was exciting. We had like kind of two fights going on at once, and you know, they both kind of, well, one of them came to a conclusion, which is always exciting. Anytime anything ends in One Piece, you're like, all right, we're gonna be going on to the next part. Let's go.
Wow, the story's moving. Oh my god.
Yeah, literally. But no, I'm excited to see where the fight with Big Mom goes. Well, see it. I know what's happening, but I'm excited to see it.
See it animated. Okay.
Do we think we're gonna get more Big Mom next week, or do you think we go up top again?
I don't think we're gonna go up top for a while. I think we're gonna be seeing
Big Mom.
If they go back to anything, I think they'll go back to Sanji and Zoro fighting.
Yeah, I want some more of that, because we haven't seen them fight out of the last few episodes in a while. I like when they're boxing. I love both of their fighting styles. They're probably my two favorite out of anybody.
Yeah, and you can't imagine them to having an emperor go down before a couple you know, like
gotta clean up
essentially,
the
you
mess. Yeah, gotta sweep the floor.
So I think we'll see Big Mom come back in a little bit. They might show them fighting still, but I don't think it's gonna be concluded before those two fights are.
I could agree with that. Can't have Big Mom going out super early.
Nah. But awesome. Yeah, you guys have anything else to add on One Piece? I mean, like we said, it was a really awesome episode, but there was really just 2 points to it, 2 focal points, and I think we covered them both there.
Yes, sir. It's it's the One Piece anime. Not a lot happens at once, but I still enjoy it.
I'm really like I've said a million times, I'm really excited to go binge Wano again.
Yeah.
And watch it at
back.
Watch it at the pace that I watched every other arc at. I'm so excited for that.
They don't feel like they last as long when you do that either, man. I completely understand.
Definitely not. But well, guys, we appreciate y'all hanging out for episode 7 of the Anime Degens podcast. Make sure you hop in the Discord and let us know what devil fruits you'd want if you could have one. Again, I think the Sheikah's fruit would be super fun. If you're addicted to sitting on your phone and being on social media all day like I am, make sure to follow us across the board. We're on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere, man. So appreciate you guys hanging out, and we'll catch you next time. Make sure to stay degenerate.